After Denathrius was defeated, the Jailer decided to shortcut the breaking process and to subdue Anduin ASAP. For this, he sent Sylvanas along with a blade that looks like Shalamayne, his father's sword, just forged as a rune blade. We know that they want to turn him into a weapon, but what is it exactly that they want from the young king? Why does the Jailer want Anduin, and how exactly does he plan to use him? We are still using giant, bulky, and unpractical wallets. Luckily, the sponsor of this video, the Ridge wallet, is offering an excellent alternative. Light, sleek, industrial, and simple in an aesthetic way, it can save you a lot of space in your pocket. Ridge wallet can hold up to 12 cards as well as cash, and it comes in over 30 colors and styles, including carbon fiber and burnt titanium. The team is so confident that they're offering a lifetime warranty and a test drive for 45 days, meaning if you don't absolutely love it, you can send it back. If you go to ridge.com/Doron, you can get 10% off as well as free worldwide shipping. Check out the link in the description below. The most recent datamine lore showed a critical dialogue between Sylvanas and Anduin. We know that at the start of the Shadowlands, Anduin along with the other heroes of Azeroth was kidnapped, but as we managed to free the rest, the human king remained from what honestly seemed like Jailer's personal cell. It is still unclear what exactly the Jailer wants from them, but my opinion is that all of this really ties into Azeroth and the Jailer's ultimate goal. I recently made a video titled Why Does the Jailer Want Azeroth, where I go further in detail about this exact topic, but to keep it short, my opinion is that Azeroth's world soul is the key and Jailer's ultimate goal. We all know that Azeroth isn't just a regular planet, but a world soul. However, I'd go even further than that and say that it might not even be just a simple nascent titan, but something much larger, since essentially every single cosmological force across the universe set their eyes on our world soul, which explains all the constant invasions. Zovaal mentioned that death is coming for our world soul, and we saw that Azeroth even has power within the Maw, as she helped us escape through an artifact of the first ones. However, before we escaped, you might have noticed that Anduin managed to call down the light to protect us and to make this happen, buying us just enough time to escape. You gotta keep in mind that this is an insane feat, as the Maw is supposed to be the most guarded and pretty much locked place in the universe, sealed away from everything else, basically inescapable. Yet Anduin, with his insane connection, managed to bring down the light and to use a spell within the Maw. This, in the cinematic, caught the eye of the Jailer, who just said, interesting. And honestly, if you examine the tone, it does seem like this caught him off guard as well. He must have known that Anduin is powerful, but not this much. I'd even go as far as to say that this action was what singled him out from the other faction leaders, which is why Zovaal guarded him personally and why we haven't been able to free him. Now, the Jailer, from this point, used Sylvanas and her persuasion skills to get Anduin to come to their side, but as his most important ally Denathrius fell unexpectedly, he realized that this slow cooking method is not going to work and they're going to have to go with a hammer to get this done. Now, it was confirmed that the Jailer wants to use him as a weapon, but what does that actually mean? How can Zovaal use Anduin as a weapon, as he is a mortal priest after all? Is he really all that important? I'd say yes. Let's examine a few key facts that can lead us to a conclusion. After Denathrius' defeat, Zovaal opens some sort of a portal and then pulls out a blue crystal and gives it to the smith that he then uses to place inside the sword. Now, the sword is the key bit of information here. The weapon itself is named Shalamayne, and it is one of the most important artifacts of Azeroth, as this was once a Night Elven weapon wielded during the War of the Ancients. There was subsequently the main weapon of King Varian that was then passed down to Anduin. We have seen Anduin using Shalamayne within the Maw, but as he was captured by the Jailer, his sword was taken away. As Sylvanas points the sword in the cinematic, it is obviously the rune blade version of Shalamayne, although it isn't clear whether this is the same sword or just enhanced, or a new blade just recreated in the same image. However, the question here is, what is this mysterious crystal? Some speculate that this could be the soul of Arthas, who was the first Lich King, as now the Jailer wants to make a Lich King #2. Some say that it could be the soul of Varian or his mother that they just wanna use as a bargaining chip. You might say, but Varian shouldn't be inside the Maw, and that is right, but the Jailer must have agents everywhere, so I wouldn't be surprised if he would be able to access other realms through them and he just kidnapped Varian. Lastly, what I think could be the case and what it looks like to me is just a soul crystal, the similar thing that you use when you do quests in the Maw. It is possible that this crystal is just a vessel to be used to capture souls in the future, and the first soul to be captured would be Anduin's, sort of similar to the mechanism that was Frostmourne, as we know that this was the Jailer's design as well. So my speculation is that the Jailer wants to create Lich King number 2. Hear me out on the theory. If you look at the rune carver and the Jailer memory cutscene, you might see that the Jailer shows Frostmourne and says that he will use the finest designs of the rune carver to find the secret that the first ones sought to hide. What if this secret is Azeroth and the ultimate goal of the Jailer is our world soul? It would make total sense, as everyone from Sargeras to the Void Lords wanted to use Azeroth for their conquest. Why shouldn't Death want to do the same? Now, the issue with the Jailer is that he can't escape them all and he can get to Azeroth personally, but he can do so through an agent. The first Lich King, Arthas, was just wildly successful and he essentially opened the gates to the Shadowlands, completed the first step, but now he wants to build a new agent, an ultimate one, to finally conquer Azeroth and to extract the world's soul. Why he would choose Anduin, in my opinion, is his connection to the light. Arthas was a relatively mediocre paladin, yet was insanely successful, but Anduin seems to be one of the finest priests in the universe, not just Azeroth, which might make him a more potent Lich King. So to me, it totally makes sense that he wants to use him to launch a new crusade against Azeroth to claim, as he says, the final prize. The key here is final, and I believe this prize is the world's soul. Now, of course, nothing is yet confirmed, as at this point it is just a data mine cinematic, so I may definitely be going a bit too far in just reaching here, but it does seem like Anduin is going to play a much larger role than we had initially expected, and I have a feeling like Jailer might actually almost succeed in this, but Sylvanas is going to interfere, as she doesn't want to create a new Lich King, as that was her arch nemesis. Thank you for watching. Check out what the Jailer wants Azeroth by clicking on the screen, and also check out Doronsmovies Academy for videos on real world history and science. See you next time.